8m13 flight controllers. Listen up. Give me a go, no go for launch. Booster.
Go.
Retro.
Go.
Vital.
We go fly.
Guidance.
Guidance go.
Procedures.
Go.
Inco.
Go.
FAO.
We are go.
Capcom.
We're go fly.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's entertainment.
Find out what's going on there. Oh, great. Now we got echoes. Okay, we should have probably tested this a little bit in advance. So turn this one down. There we go. See if that works. Still picking up double.
Now, do you guys hear an echo out there, or is it just us maybe?
There's no way I'll be able to do it with that.
I'm just curious. I want to see what they're saying. If there's an echo on your end.
What the hell is that?
They're liking the background light.
Yeah, we put a little time and money into that, but there's no way I'm going to be able to hear myself coming back and forth. Otherwise, I'm going to have to take the headphones off, or it's going to drive me nuts.
It's just us.
I guess it don't really matter then, huh?
That's kind of nice.
But it'd be nice to know where our levels are at and stuff like that.
It's good, but a little soft.
A little soft. Well, we can jam that up. Well, you can go right into here.
So fix
And
it.
bring that up a little bit. 221. We're coming in negative 3.6 dB. We should be coming in good right there. 221.
Nice.
How's that, people? Everything good?
The echo's coming through there. That's why.
Through what?
You have it going through your computer. Hey, guys. How's it going? You need to mute your computer, mister.
Well, I can do that. Like that.
So, guys, how's your weekend going? Is everything going good over in your neck of the woods?
All right. So, yeah, the background music was something we were wanting to do last week, and we got it loaded into the mixer and stuff. And this time we're doing it through Streamlabs and kind of using the StreamYard for the capture and device. And then got the new video camera, got the new RGB lighting. I've got a new lens coming. Just so you guys know, because I told Amazon I wanted to make sure everyone knows this. If you guys need anything that's critical, do not buy it through Amazon. They promised they would have it to me.
He's very salty about this.
I am beyond salty. This torqued my turkey like you wouldn't believe. I paid full price for this thing. I should have got it through B&H. It was the same price. They'd price match it. So I decided to go through Amazon because I had a gift card area that was going to knock some money off on it. And they said they would have it here on Saturday. And they, on one of the times I was looking at it, it said, would you like to have it next day? You know, so it been here like on Wednesday. I ordered this on Monday. So they were already taking way longer. The Amazon Prime has been a total ripoff lately, and they want to blame everything on the corona. And it's like, no, you guys aren't even sending this stuff out until 3 and 4 days later. And so anyhow, long story short, told it next day. Next thing I know, it moves it to Wednesday of next week. So I finally get a hold of somebody overseas. That went nowhere. Talked to them then on the next morning, talked to them. And I said, well, then just cancel it. I'll order it somewhere else. He's like, well, I can't cancel it. I said, it's in stock though, right? He goes, yeah, it's in stock. You can't go down, have nobody go down there and pick that, throw it in a box and ship it. Nope, can't do that. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I told him I'd make sure to let everybody know that if you got anything critical, do not rely on Amazon to get it here because they are really dropping the ball something fierce. Quality seems really good.
check
Awesome.
So look at all this. Yeah. So you guys, what do you think? What do you think of being able to see the chat up there on the little YouTube window beside us? I think it's quite fancy and I kind of like it. One great thing about doing it this way is that a problem we've been running into is the live chat doesn't always come up right away after the live stream. So folks have been making comments that they are missing out on the live chat because it does take YouTube some time to
Process it
process it or whatever they're doing, screening our phone calls, running it through, Alexa and Siri. Anyways.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try to utilize using OBS Streamlabs and actually have the comments come up like a scrolling little thing like what it would in live chat actually in the video feed. So that way everybody who's seeing it right away can, check it out, and hopefully this will help. So yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking about it. If everything sounds good, because this is our very first time using OBS Streamlabs. So hopefully y'all are liking it. I'm seeing lots of comments in the chat.
You should be able to turn on your
Hughes
you got
Man.
yours, don't you? Yeah, Hughes Mans. I'm a little bit
How's it
jealous of
going?
you, man. What's up with that? You got a drone now? Topping me out with the drone. I'm like, man, I get that. They'll be torqued if I use that at work. I'm just seeing it. They'd be like, what is he doing with a drone? Man, that is awesome. Check out Hughes Man's latest video he just released today. It is really picking up the pace. So won't be long, man. You're gonna be bigger than me. That was really nice video. It looked really clear, and the shot you had, I'm like, oh, he's got that off of Google Maps or something, and it gets clearer and clearer as you get closer. And I'm like, no, that ain't Google Maps. I'm like, wait a minute. He's got a freaking drone. There he is on the side of the building driving that thing. What the heck? And then it's following him, so he must have got a decent one. So I'm a little jealous.
And hold the phone, folks. We've only been streaming for 12 minutes and we already got a thumbs down.
Oh, well, you'll have that.
Oh, well, I'm not going to lose sleep over that tonight, folks. But I just think it's funny. Like, we've been on 13 minutes and we already got a thumbs down.
Well, you got a slow beginning, and it happens. I mean, it's a learning experience, and a lot of times you don't have a chance to do it. I mean, you can record it fake-wise, but, she's, like, really put a lot of time into this.
Samuel just asked a really good question. Yes, Samuel. So my name, Chronic Flute. I do toot the flute. I've been tooting the flute since 5th grade is when I started. That's when we start band in this area. And I'm 37, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You're 8 years
I'm
younger.
37. And that means Rick is 8 years older than me. So he's really old. But yes, I am a band nerd for life and I still toot the flute. And I think I do pretty well considering all my handicaps, neurologically speaking. But yes, I toot the flute. I'm a chronic flute tutor.
Yeah.
And I got lots of chronic health issues. So that's how I came up with the name Chronic Flute. I thought it'd be unique enough that other people wouldn't be stealing it.
So that's what Samuel was asking there.
Yeah, that's what he was asking.
Yep.
It's a great question, Samuel. We got Pepsi on here. We got like HVAC IR and then Hughes Man. Yamo's even on tonight. Hey, Yamo. Thanks for checking us out from across the border. That's awesome. Trying to see Chris is on here. Chris Full HK HVAC's on. Rich, of course. Rich, you never let me down. He doesn't. Like, Rich is always on. I love it. Ricky Hertz is on. So yeah, this is great. We've got a lot of the same folks out here, which I love. I love that you guys come every week. And I also love being able to see you guys on Friday nights in the overtime stream too. That's really cool. Except I kind of slept through the last Friday stream.
Not because it was boring, but you didn't feel good.
Yeah, I had a killer migraine.
But yeah, it's something you guys kind of grow into. I'll be honest with you. The first time I seen one of these live streams, I thought it was stupid and I really didn't like it. And I think you get addicted to it after a while because, I mean, you really kind of get to know the people a lot better, which is really a lot of the reason why I'm doing it. Because, my personality, you can tell the difference between I'm at work and when I'm here. Unfortunately, I'm not all happy-go-lucky when I'm running calls.
He's normally a jerk, folks. I'm not going to lie.
Well, sometimes. I mean, I've been called a lot worse, but you know, I'm very particular. So, you know, and I'm very judgmental. So, you know, when my biggest thing, I may not be the absolute best or anything like that, but I try to do the absolute best job I can. And, you know, there's only one person that you can outdo can outdo you, and that's yourself. So you've always try your best and do the best job possible. Then there's nothing else that can be asked of you. So that's kind of my way of looking at it. So I did release 2 videos here. I did the Scotsman ice machine, and I did the, I think it was the walk-in cooler, what have you. So the Scotsman machine, it was kind of a simple-ish call. You know, the water filter was pounded back behind there, and they just don't have any room in this building. And I had this issue once before, but it kind of slipped my mind because I hadn't been there lately, and I couldn't see the water pressure gauge. And because there was water coming through, the machine would run. And I didn't get a very good description on it originally. They were just like, well, it works sometimes, you know, for a day or two, and it doesn't the next. So knowing from the past experiences, generally you run into the coil being dirty on the roof and things like that. So I wanted to make sure that I went through all those sort of things. So there was some time that seems like I wasted a lot of time on it, but I'm guilty of not always going up there and double checking the condenser on the roof and stuff for like the ice machine. And if you watch the ice machine video from a few weeks ago, that one was packed solid. And, you know, a lot of times that touch feel, when I'm sitting there showing my hand touching things.
He's very touchy-feely, folks.
Yeah. So as I'm touching and feeling things, I'm actually seeing, you know, is it hot? Is it warm? Is it cool? What's going on? Because once you guys learn, you know, for the new guys, once you learn what the normal temperatures and stuff are, the hand touch method, I believe, was an old school method that was way before me. It was used a lot of times on heat pumps, things like that. So I'm trying to get a basis of what's going on. Because, I mean, once you start getting into total HVAC nerd and start checking temperatures and seeing what the average is, because, I mean, if you want to get good, the best way to get good is to start checking temperatures, pressures, voltages, all that, when the stuff works good. And then when you go out on one that's not working right, you're going to know immediately, hey, that's normally hot, that's normally cold. Hey, I should normally have no voltage drop across this particular spot, but I might have it over there. So a lot of times when I'm showing the things with my hands, things like that, there's reasons behind it. It's not just to show off my cool marked up hands and my cool HVAC ring here that I've got. So, you know, those are some of the things that I was doing. So
in the chat, Hambone just got on. Hi, Ham. How's it going? Obviously, I can't talk today. Probably going to get another migraine because that's usually what happens. And Sam has put in there that he thinks I should play my flute on a stream. So, yeah.
Just go online. You can see her every Sunday morning.
Well, and I was also thinking about we're going to make a really killer dope like
intro video
thing, and I might just have to like throw down some beats for that. So stay tuned. It's coming. I have a little montage that I want to create in my head. I just have to write out music, and then it would be like me times 6 or 7, 8 people of me like layered on top of one another. It in my mind, it sounds good. So here's a question. JD asked, do you ever service oil burners, your favorite?
Yeah, I've done them. I won't forget the first time I finally went on call, and this was long ago. And the very first call I got on call was an oil furnace. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So here we go. You know, I've rode with several different people and worked on several different ones. And I had one guy that derated every oil burner out there. I rode with the other 2 that constantly, you know, didn't like the way he did it. So I got to see the way everyone did it. Went out there, and it was some dumb things wrong with it, but it never fails. Whenever I go out on them, it always had a plugged heat exchanger. There was always somebody that was cutting the air back, trying to keep the draft in a negative.
I think Ham just beat you, though. He said he just fixed a dryer and a dishwasher. The dishwasher had a fried electrical connections, and the dryer had a pair of panties stuck in the blower.
I guess it depends on what they look like.
Were they grandma panties?
Yeah.
We're curious. You have to let us know in the chat. What kind of panties were they?
Speaking of curious, did you guys see the picture there with the old curious ZZ Top guy?
I saw his eyes, for real. He didn't even have sunglasses on when he got out of the truck.
Nope. We got just a little bit of a little tidbit here that I was going to upload and we forgot to do it. But yeah, he very good guy. So you know,
very nice.
Yep, very nice. And his kid was very well mannered. She was a perfect little angel there and stuff. And it was good eating with them. We were up in Detroit, believe it or not. That's where a flute specialist is what they actually call it.
Just slightly north of Detroit.
Yeah, kind of. So we were down in the hood, and we dropped off the flute, which was not a cheap flute, and then
That's why we have to drive over 2 hours away to get it worked on, to have it COA done.
yeah, because I mean, it's just when you're spending some big money on that stuff, because that's her main thing. You know, you want to make sure you have somebody that knows how to properly clean and repair and do everything. So kind of like the HVAC service guy. You know, they're not all created equal. It's the same thing when it comes to specialty items. It's like a Muramatsu flute, which is not a cheap flute. So
And it's from Japan. So, and you have to be like an authorized, like repair person to even do a COA and all that stuff on it. So Hamilton said he's going to post a picture to the HVAC Overtime Facebook group. So definitely when you see that pair of panties come across, Rick, you'll have to show those to me. And then someone else had a really good, Anthony, he asked, what's the biggest boiler you've worked on?
biggest boiler. I think it was 4 million BTU. It's a Cleaver Brooks steam. I mean, I'm not real good at the really, really, really big ones like that, the big high pressure steam. I mean, we've got a couple places where they're at, 100, 150 pound pressure. So, you got to definitely respect it. But I've done like the rebuild on the heat exchanger and checking the tubes out and all that stuff. I mean, didn't really do a full rebuild, but it was more of checking everything, all that. But most of the places, they usually bring in the actual Cleaver Brook guys from up north, which I think they're out of maybe Michigan or something like that, or Toledo, I forget. But yeah, I do a lot more on the hot water and things like that, which I've got another boiler video, which didn't seem like didn't take off quite as much. This other one's pretty long, and I'm kind of curious if I should just leave it long, because I mean, there's a lot. Going in there, putting new sight glass in there for the expansion tank, which are metal expansion tanks. They don't have any rubber bladders. The drain down in it didn't work correctly. I can't see our subscriber count. You've got it so minusculely small. All I see is you got to be pictured like 1.5 inches tall.
It's 72.
72.
Well, yeah, 72.
It would be nice if that was a little bigger, because I don't need to see all the options and sources that we don't need. So
you're just going to have to be patient. Don't touch.
Can I click on it?
No, don't touch anything.
Why not?
Because I said so.
That's how we learn, right, guys? We just basically tear into it and just find out what's inside.
Don't touch.
Come on.
You have no idea what you're messing with, so don't touch it. You're not going to be able to make things any bigger. I got to fix it later. Move on.
Can't do it now, huh?
Correct.
Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up if you would, please. Helps the channel out a lot, I tried throwing this 2 out in a row to kind of get them shook up again, so that they might start pushing things out there a little bit more. It seems like just doing one a week is not getting things growing. I know on that one 25-ton rooftop unit, for some reason that thing went berserk and went like 47,000 people. For me, that's quite a few views. And so I was trying to see what it takes to kind of get them going. I've watched all the other different tips and tricks and things like that. So, but that's where we're at, Anthony. 125,000.
So, HVAC-IR was asking. He just posted a question. Do you need a gas ticket to work on gas systems? If so, do you have BTU limitation or no limits?
I've never heard it called a gas ticket. I mean, we've got people that have all the certifications that we work under. Like we have certified electricians, certified plumbers, certified, state certified, all that stuff. So, I mean, we work underneath of it under however the business thing is set up for Ohio. So, I got, my usual certifications for refrigerant and stuff like that. And I was Nate originally, but I let it expire because it really was no benefit other than, hey, I passed it. And, it's a lot different than having just the, refrigerant one, because the refrigerant one didn't tell you whether you knew what you're doing. It just knew whether or not what the laws were.
And let's see. Oh, okay. So in Canada, they call them tickets for licenses.
Okay.
So that explains that. And then David, HVAC Pro, please do not encourage him. He said push all the buttons. And Hamilton said don't push the buttons. So you need to listen. He said, don't mess it up, Rick. And then let's see what other kind of things.
You took your mic a little hotter there. What the heck? You're trying to outdo me again.
Yeah, I know.
You're as bad as Ryan.
Well, it's because I'm very great, Huseman. I'm sorry. You're going to be hearing this for a while now. Chris, he said, those Chinese flutes can get crazy. It's not Chinese, it's Japanese. Thank you.
Chinese cheap, Japanese big money.
Yeah.
Kind of like Hashasaki, even though it's made down in freaking Georgia, I guess.
Oh, Greg Bowman's on. Hi, Greg.
I know some Bowmans.
Is that the same one you know?
Nope. I have no idea. I don't think there's anybody really around
no
here.
No need for a natural gas license as a technician.
No.
No, not here.
Nope. No, you know, honestly, our jobs are not even inspected. We don't even have an HVAC inspector in our area. So town north of us, which is smaller than us, literally has somebody up there. But generally what you run into is these kids straight out of school that are trying to work their way up the log there and come out of Columbus, and they like don't even know their own rules, and they're trying to, you know, dictate this and that. Now, granted, the gas company does have certain rules of things that you are and aren't allowed to use, like flex connectors, things like that. You know, back in the day, they wouldn't allow certain ones or any at all, only like on mobile homes and things like that. And then the track pipe stuff came along, and then board flex and all the other crap. And then it had to be bonded, and you know, all that crap changes. But those are all things that, you know, I just follow whatever they said now to use and just use it. But yeah, you didn't have to have any of those sort of things. Ohio's pretty simple for service. You don't have to have anything. Now, if you want to be an HVAC company or what have you, I think from what I was told from one of the other guys I know, he said you can do service without any special certifications or whatever. But if you wanted to do the full blown like install and all that stuff, that was when you had to go get state certified and things like that. My birth dad, he has all his plumbing, master's plumber's license, HVAC, electrical, and all that crap. So, yeah, it depends on whether you want to go on your own. Me personally, I don't really care to go on my own. After seeing what it takes to try to drum up business and stuff, it's the high life for a little while. And you think you're going to be a millionaire until you see that you pretty well traded your whole life to for still the same job. And so. What are you doing?
Pepsi. He said he watched your video that you released today. He said it was a very interesting video. He was wondering why the ice machine was not working, and it was the water filter, and you were sanitizing the NON, the non, and you changed the water filter. So I guess he has questions.
The non. I wish I could see this.
You can, right there in front of your face.
Where at?
I mean that with love.
Where is it at?
Right there. You're over it. Let's see what else.
Yeah, I don't like when people abbreviate crap because I have no clue what that means.
And then HVAC-IR said that they have 3 code books for gas license certification. That is insane.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to be a contractor and get your contractor's license, yeah, you're going to need to go do all that stuff.
Autocorrect.
Okay, cool.
He said, why autocorrect? Why? Although I made a small mistake, it corrected on me with the wrong word. Okay. So
Okay.
yeah, just let us know.
The thing with that one there, with being a Scotsman, and like I said, you know, Manitowoc I know pretty good inside and out because that's what we lease and sell. So I know all their little ins and outs and things like that. The Scotsman, I mean, I've done the Prodigy, I've done that one there with the blue and the brown, black module, whatever. What's really funny is, I mean, they're being proactive. They're trying to catch a problem before it becomes a big one. So, I mean, in their algorithm there, they are timing how long does it take for that float to get to full versus empty. And it basically said it's taking too long, and that's when it decided to lock out. So it was making ice, and it would have kept running if it wasn't for its timed out feature that it shut it down. So, I mean, that was, you know, it wasn't locked out when I got there. They actually had it turned off. Actually, it was just locked out, yeah. And I should have looked at it. But like I said, it's one of the things where you get there and sometimes you're not always thinking exactly what it is you're going to do with it. And you're kind of curious what it is, and you're trying to figure out what they've got going on. At the same time I was there doing that, I look over at the reach-in freezer, and it is in a block of ice. And I'm like, how long's this been going on? They're like, 3 weeks. So, I mean, it's one of them things where the store just basically, a lot of things get forgotten, not forwarded on to the people that would call us or something like that. So that machine's out of lease, you know, so the machines we lease to them, we do them every 6 months. That one there, they own. So it's, like I said, it's, I think if you look at the video, you can see that the startup date, I think, was 01 or 2. So that thing's like 18, 19 years old. So it's tired. But yeah, it shut down. That was something kind of weird about the blue module and stuff. They had that. They also got, you know, temperature sensors on the hot discharge gas.
And he wants to know what's the thickness of the ice.
Well, with those, what's kind of interesting is there's not a lot of adjustment to it because it's basing it off the float. So inside there in that black module to the left, when I sat there and moved it up and down like this, there is a little slit in that. And what they've got is an infrared transmitter and receiver. And through that slit, it actually, when it drops down, it blocks the IR. And then when it comes higher, it opens up and shows it. So that's how it knows whether or not it's full or not. So if you think about it, if you're freezing down, the plates are going to start holding that water that is frozen to ice. And HVAC works the same way. So as their float drops, it's the same thing as what they're doing here. And that's why I was saying, I got questioned on clean the thing immediately or something like that. Well, with that particular machine, you can get away with not cleaning it as well as you should be cleaning it. They've kind of made it resilient by not using the traditional ice thickness probe sensor where it's actually making contact through the ice and water. That one there is purely by float. So even if it's slimed up, as long as it's going up and down, it's still going to keep on putting water in there. It's going to keep on freezing onto the evaporator, and that's how it keeps on going. I mean, that's why I didn't, jump to it as crazy as that. And, and I've talked with the guys from Scotsman. They have some really good service people that have been there for a long, long time. And, I've mentioned that before because like on a Manitowoc, now them there, if you got a long harvest and stuff, very first thing I'll do is run the machine cleaner through it because those plates kind of get a grit on it that's going to turn into like a sandpaper and it holds on to the ice and it doesn't fall off very easily. Whereas this one here, basically it just warms it up and it falls right off. And it, they're not as critical as, say the Manitowoc is. Their plate, because they've got it in there with those cubes. And if you ever looked at it, it's in there at the V. It's got to sit there and fall out all together as one chunk where that other one can fall independently. Same thing with HVAC, and their freeze cycle and theirs is like 30 minutes. So, I mean, they got a long freeze cycle. Same thing, the Scotsman's a little quicker, but they don't do as much at one time. So, I mean, it's totally three different machines between the three of them. So, like I said, I'm better at the Manitowoc, but, the Scotsman's pretty easy to get. They've got good documents online. A lot of times they'll have a little IR code or the little badge thing there, and you can scan it. Now on some of the new ones, it literally will tell you when it was registered, whether it's in warranty or not, and you can pull up the installation and service documents and stuff, which is really nice. So they're making it really simple to get the information that you need to service the machine. So, but yeah, mainly we sell the Manitowoc and that newest version that came out. I've already, found a few things on that I don't necessarily like. It's got the new full touch screen pad and stuff. I've just started playing with those a little bit. I don't usually install it, so it may be out for 6 months to a year before I even get to see it. So there's a few updates I need to get onto an SD card.
And Doug was saying that the Isomatic also uses 2 floats now with the CIM model.
Okay. Because the Isomatic is very similar to Manitowoc, if I remember correctly. The big brands around here, like I've said, Scotsman, HVAC is not real big around here because they're expensive. And I mean, you see it like at the Red Lobsters, they spend quite a bit of money on it. I believe like the Texas Roadhouses, but we don't do a lot for those particular restaurants very often. So, it's not every day I'm working on them. So I get rusty big time. And, I've had my issues with them. When you're not playing with them and when they've got some of their manuals that aren't correct and will mislead you to think the control module is bad, that makes me not very happy with them because I had to end up sending the control module back and I got into a big old fight. And I'm like, your directions say right here, this has to be done. And if this ain't it, it's the module. And I even talked to your service guy. So HVAC is good stuff. It's super expensive, but it's very reliable.
So Weaver is in the chat, and he said in Ohio, you have to have 5 years experience to be qualified to take the state HVAC contractor license test, and they want to see your old permits as proof from your previous employers. So they want the receipts.
Yeah.
As all the young kids are
But,
saying these
generally
days.
when you're working for somebody, they're not going to be giving you that. So that's kind of where you're going to be a little tricky there to get it. Because, generally the employer's not going to want you to leave. Not that they can stop you, but that's just one of them things. I kind of wanted to do it originally in the beginning days, but as my employer I've got really takes really, really good care of us. I mean, they pay us good enough to the point where I don't see how I'd make a whole lot more. I mean, they share very well with us, and I can't complain. I mean, our health insurance is 80/20. We've got, a lot of vacation. We got tool allowances. We got, pretty much everything. I can't complain. I mean, They're the best place I've worked at before ever, and I've moved around a little bit and always kind of had a tendency to go back to my old employers and stuff. And these guys treat me so well that there's just really no reason to go on my own, especially as I'm getting a little bit older. So it's a lot more work.
So Pepsi was asking, have you come up to an ice machine with a touchscreen interface? Have you had any of those yet?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. On the
okay.
Manitowoc, they have the newest little touchscreen deal. They've got, it's got Wi-Fi and all kinds of crap on it. You can do all kinds of different things. I've done a webinar on that one, but I haven't been to the class. I think because I've done so many of the other ones that they've kind of like don't find it in their interest to send me down to Columbus to go to the distributor to go through the class. But I've been through the Manitowoc thing, I think, twice, which is about an 8-hour thing, all said and done. They feed you and all that. So, yeah, that's where you really learn your most stuff. As soon as he stops talking, that's where I start asking all the questions and things. And you can ask all those weird oddities.
The Manitowoc Indigo is what someone in
Indigo
said in chat.
Yep. That's the one. But I've got their newest manual and stuff, which I hate reading through manuals. But
Yeah, because that's this first go-to is always reading the manual.
I hate reading manuals. I want to find it so quickly that I'll jump around in the manual so much that I could have probably read the whole manual by the time I find the one thing that I'm looking for. So unfortunately, my mind's moving around too quickly to read through it. So drummers going on out there. We got all kinds of weirdo stuff going on, don't we?
What are you talking about, Willis?
He was saying that he needs a new drummer or something.
Yeah, dude, you're like, you need to scroll down in your comments.
Oh, this turd doesn't even do it on its own?
No, it does, but
This dang thing's busted. You didn't make it very good.
I can't control that.
You busted it. Mm-hmm. Yep.
But yeah, anybody else have any, Jessica said, Jessica Egan's on. She said she's interested in ice machines. They seem pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like anything. When I came to this company, I wanted to learn everything, and I thought I could learn everything. And that's when I started learning my limitations, because after a while, there's so many different things. That's why I haven't got to do much with the supermarkets and things like that. And I'm just now doing it mainly when I'm on call, which, is a little more difficult when everyone's sleeping. But, I pretty well have done through all the other stuff, all the reach-ins, the ice machines, the walk-ins, ice cream machines, slushies, all that stuff, food equipment, blenders, I mean, you name it. Pretty much all the things that everyone else don't want to do. So, but, now I'm getting a chance kind of here and there to do the big stuff at the grocery stores and some of the factories that do for food processing and things like that, which I'm not allowed to record in those places. So unfortunately, about the best I might be able to do is maybe show a still picture possibly. And even then I might push my luck. So unfortunately, as much as I want to show it, I may not be able to show much of it.
Let's see if there's anything else good in the chat. So I think this is kind of funny. So we all know that, Chris likes pineapple parties and getting pictures of pineapples. And Bill, I think for a while they were sending him pepperonis with like faces and stuff on them. So majority of the time, it's interesting when we go out to eat somewhere, Rick will take it, like if it's somewhere that he doesn't personally work on the ice machine, he can look at the ice in the glass and be like, oh, this is such a machine, which I find really funny. So yeah, feel free to send Rick ice cube pictures to his email. I think that'd be hilarious. See what kind of ice cube pictures you get.
Yeah, all means HVACR survival at gmail.com. I don't care, pictures, videos, whatever. Just keep the viruses there at your place. But
JD said, I never thought about the slush machine needing service. That's why you don't drink from the slushy machine.
Think about what's in the slush machine.
Yeah,
what is it?
Not
It's
good.
sugar water. That's all it is. 5 pounds of sugar to 5 gallons of water. What happens with sugary? What does sugar do? It
gets
feeds
sticky.
the fungi.
And it gets sticky.
Yeah, and does it get cleaned every week and a half or every week? Nope. So it sits there and they get this funky snot-looking stuff in the bottom of the machine.
Slushy.
But hey, they put
snot.
some red, blue, purple, green stuff in there to hide the taste that you won't ever notice. And it may never make you sick, but it's nasty to look at it. And, if you ever look inside of the ice cream machine, which I eat plenty of, that crap will turn into a freaking hardened, what's what's that? Epoxy. Yeah, a freaking epoxy.
Ew.
Yeah, I've got some videos of that crap where I basically could chisel the stuff out with a hammer and a freaking chisel. So,
Chris, they get the earwigs out of the slushy machines. Yeah, that's pretty much what it's like. Yeah.
down there, Millwood, the pay scale at the big corporation is not high enough for the work you in the supermarket work. The supermarket, we charge the same price that we do everyone else. Now the industrial, we charge a few extra dollars per hour on that stuff. Most of our stuff is hourly rated. And we got pretty good relationships with most of our places that we're at, that we've been there for years and years and years. And with us doing plumbing, electrical, heating, engineering, controls, pretty much everything in the whole gamut, because we got about 100. We have over 100 employees between our multiple different branches. And so we pretty much can take care of about, we got full-time welders. We got 2 full-time mechanics for the trucks because we have over 100 and some trucks. So, I mean, we buy a lot of used vehicles, and so we got mechanics to maintain them. We find it to be cheaper, so we have full-time welders that are all state certified, stuff like that. So a little bit of everything. I mean, it's one of the bigger ones that I've ever worked for. The biggest, actually.
So Mike C., he wants to know, has anyone ever heard of a Vivor ice machine? He had a call from someone who bought one on eBay and it doesn't work, and they want him to look at it.
Sounds like some Chinese thing. I would run from it. What you're going to run into, it's
Run
just
very
like
far.
what you're going to run into, just like the Italian ice machines are made in Italy, which I have no problem with Italy. They seem to make good stuff, but problem you run into is getting any type tech manuals for it, and generally you can't get parts very easily. You ever seen them where the margarita machines where it's got either 2 or 3 slushy deals? Man, that thing's like way up. We're like so far. You keeping your 6 foot from me? So anyhow, you can't get
Don't touch me like that.
Yeah.
And
So-
guess who's on?
I see the Curious ZZ Top guy
Curious Man's on. So here's another. So Doug made comments. He wishes you would film more ice cream service videos because he saw one where you had to set the air and viscosity, and it seemed complicated. And that he's done a few shake machines, but Taylor tech support isn't.
Taylor
Probably.
sucks.
Yeah. So there's
Taylor's
that.
a bunch of communists that won't let you in. So if you buy a Taylor machine, you've just screwed yourself on who you can hire. So unless you get somebody that's able to get the manuals, which I've got some of them, what really sucks is when you're trying to condemn a control board that's really expensive, because there's nothing cheap when it comes to food equipment. The control boards can be anywhere from $700 to $900 or more, and you're like, man, there's 2 boards that are connected together with a ribbon cable. Is it that one or is it the other one, or should we just replace both? And then it's like, okay, if I don't, then it could go bad. I hate Taylor because they won't let me in on their training. So, I'm willing to learn it and all that, but they're so faithful to their people, which is kind of good for the people they got actually in their little circle. But they don't let no one else in there to learn about their stuff. And I've tried different means to get in there. But I don't share a lot on the ice cream stuff. Now, granted, we just changed the machines over from a lot of the machines we were leasing to the previous place were pressurized machines. And so what that means is basically it has a pump in there that mixes the air in with the mix in at the same time. And they're trying to sustain about a 40% mixture of air. So 40% of your ice cream usually is air, and on a soft serve. So the gravity machines, which is what we switched them over to because the employees are so incapable of just cleaning an ice cream machine properly, and they created so many jobs for me. I've got a video of replacing the belt on the mix pump, which I've thought about showing that one, but I just didn't know if anybody would be all that interested in it. Because when I show these videos and then it doesn't get many views and stuff, YouTube sits there and goes, views are down by 50%. This is down by 40%. Time watched is 40. It's like that. I'm sure they're like, yeah, let's send that guy some more business, because his people ain't even watching. So, the biggest thing, like Chris says all the time, the best thing you can do to help support the channel is watch the whole video and give the thumbs up thing, even thumbs down, anything like that. The watch time is how they rate us a lot of times, and the longer the video is being watched, that's how you get higher up on your rankings. So they don't really care about the feedback. I mean, face it, it's just like regular TV, and I've said this before. It's all about the advertising dollars, which I do squeeze some in there. I try to do them no more than every 3.5 to 4 minutes because I got to get something for my time, and it usually is not a whole lot. So, you know, I spend sometimes 4, 5, 6 hours. I'll start at 7 in the morning on Saturday, and I may not finish up till 3 or 4 just because I'm trying to get rid of all the garbage in between. Because, you know, I learned a lot through a couple videos, you know, way long ago. And the only thing that I didn't like about them was there was so much downtime of setting up and, you know, carrying tools and things like that. It's like, I need to see the information quickly as possible. So that's why I try to edit my stuff down as quick as possible so that you guys can kind of see what's going on. I hate that thing's not scrolling. So,
it is. It takes longer to refresh.
yeah, but yeah, it's, that's why I do the way I do. So if you're really interested in, I may do the video
and
on that.
some of the setup for the ice cream machines is kind of proprietary in terms of each individual. Sometimes each individual ice cream stand has their own way of doing things.
You're talking about any type of ingredients. That's where the proprietary thing would come in. Because I mean,
Not how much air.
no, the air is not usually a huge thing. I mean, some of the guys are cheap and they want to try to get you to pump it up as much as you can so they can try to get as much out of it. It's like they say there's 180% profit on a soft serve cone, but you know those machines are $18,000 to $20-some thousand for a brand new big monster size one. So I mean, it takes a lot of ice cream cones to get that money back, and so you know, yeah.
And Pepsi, this is funny that you asked this. He wants to know if you worked on your own heating and air conditioning unit.
Yeah, you want to go look at it?
All the time.
No, actually, surprisingly enough, I don't really have that many problems. I've got a Lennox G32V, which is a variable speed 2-stage gas LP furnace because I'm in the country, and I have a heat pump, which is a Duquesne with a Lennox coil because you know back in the day Lennox actually had decent coils, but evaporators anyhow before everything else went to poo-poo. So I don't usually have any problems with it. I literally swapped out my control board on the heat pump from a time defrost board to an accumulative whatever. I took it out of a condenser we trashed. So I did it to that, and then I kind of figured out that the gas furnace was more efficient to run it in high fire only and not screw around in low fire. And because I mean, me and another guy both had, and I'm totally getting off subject here, just so you know. But since you asked about it, I'm throwing it out there. So we both have propane, so we could see how much we use. And I know there's degree days and all this other stuff, but basically we both had more propane when we ran it in high fire only, get it on, get it off, and get out the door type thing. And that's why I'm not a big believer for, you know, on propane of the 2-stage. But, you know, if you got problems with it, yeah, that's great. 2-stage, you know, it's great for comfort. That's why I always tell people, do you want comfort or do you want efficiency? You know, it's more comfortable with 2-stage, but sometimes it seems to cost you a little bit more when it's all said and done.
Mike is asking if we've ever heard of trail baloney. I have no idea what that is.
That sounds a little kinky or weird.
You need to elaborate there, Mike.
Yeah.
I don't have a clue. I try not to go outside, not going to lie. So trails, not my thing.
Yeah, she don't go anywhere, unfortunately. Oh, look at that. I can scroll. I don't do nothing. Can I get over to this one here? Where's this one at? There we go.
Right there.
So how do we got like 3 windows? Is this on my left window or that's on the right window?
Here's your sign, folks.
You know, I usually am the techie on this stuff, but I didn't want to mess with it, so I let her do it. So I'm probably going to regret having her figure it out. So she probably won't show me how to do it. So go
Because he'll
figure.
booger it up. All my hours of labor making this stream look fabulous, and he'll just go in there and just screw it all up. Oh, he said trail bologna is made from deer meat. I mean, we got lots of deer up here. I've made deer tacos before. I don't think I've ever had deer summer sausage or bologna or anything.
I like deer jerky, venison. That's good stuff.
Curious, trail bologna sounds like a delicious treat.
Look at that. Skipped frames detected 26% over the last 2 minutes. Probably because what frame rate are you on that? You should probably lower that down to a lower res that way. Because I mean, we only have a 10 meg upload.
I'm on 480.
You can still see it on.
I'll go down to 144.
No, you can go 240.
Because now it's all blurry and I think I'm like,
oh, for
getting a
love of
migraine.
Pete.
But that's okay.
Oh my gosh. So yeah.
Oh, Mike said he's heard it's an Ohio thing. Well, if it is, I don't like going outside, so I don't really.
There
Can't
ain't,
answer that.
there ain't near the people hunting here is what it used to be. I mean, we got coons all over the road. I mean, they're all getting hit left and right. I also have been told that drive-throughs, convenient drive-throughs, is supposedly an Ohio thing or
I
something
wonder.
like that.
You know what though? Now that we're speaking of deer, I bet you someone must have got. So we had this peeping deer that was trying to peek in our.
Doing a lot of peep, 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 peep.
Peep, peep, peep.
Talk across it, not into it.
We had a deer that was trying to peek. He was a pervert. He was trying to peek inside through the blinds of our bedroom window, and he's only came around that one time, and then he disappeared. So maybe he got shot by Elmer Fudd.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Might have happened. So what else we got going in here? So, yeah. Anyhow, back to that drive-through thing. That was one of the other videos I recorded that I'll be throwing out there here before long. It was another cooler that surprisingly froze up for no good reason. So I was in a block of ice, and it's like, people, this didn't just happen overnight. So another one of those weirdo ones where the defrost clock may or may not have been an issue, which, that's what I've been running into. A lot of weirdo things with the defrost, which there was a lot of questions on that that kind of got brought up on the walk-in cooler and stuff. Have you or anyone else had those little red Diversitech nitrogen purge braze tools or Black Hill more version? How did they work for you? I've been using the, you've seen the one I've been using. It's a brass block there that, they're made up in Cleveland. I'm trying to think of what it is, West something or whatever. I like that. They're $125, $135. It's got purge, it's got braze, and it's got test. And you can buy it whether it be in a 250, 500, or I think a 650 PSI range. You just set it to where you want it at, it goes to it. If you're wanting to braze, you put it on the braze, and it just trickles through. And generally, that right there, I love it because it's so easy to do the job right now. As far as not having it blow the braze out of the joint while you're trying to do it. So between that and getting that little Christmas tree looking thing from JB Tools that Chris showed in one of his videos that had the little 1/4-inch refrigerant hose on there, that thing is pretty sweet too. So I've got a few videos, I think, maybe with that in there. So I need to just, I got to get some more of those put up and stuff. So yeah.
And so Doug made a good comment. He said, to someone from our sunny climate with no snow and no weather, I was wondering if you guys are busier when it snows, or does the call volume go down?
No. For us, we don't get slow until January and February. We're going to be good all the way through. That's why it's kind of interesting to hear these guys in California, it's only 100 degrees out and we're slow. And I'm like, huh? We don't even hit that half the time. So, but granted, our humidity is a lot higher. We easily get up in the 60% or better humidity level. For us, like right now, we kind of went from the cooling to all of a sudden smack you in the face. We have no heat calls. And then now they've been jolted a little bit. Now they want to get it serviced and, have their furnace checked over and things like that. We've got a lot of PMs that we do. One of the smartest things your company can do is have a lot of PMs for when things get slow. A lot of people give a special discount on it as an incentive to keep it going. So, but we're usually busy all the way through up until, and then till about January, we're starting to get a little scared a little bit. February really gets kind of crappy, but when March rolls around for me, ice cream season's starting up again. So that takes me out of stealing calls from the other guys. So I'm working on the ice cream stuff, which the more you know, the more you're worth. So you young guys get an opportunity to learn something new. Take everything you can get and put it in your pocket, because that's just the facts. The more you know, the more you're worth, the more you're less likely to be let go of. So.
And Sean says, when do we talk about refrigeration? Is this like Coast to Coast AM radio station?
You're listening to the Coast to Coast radio station of the HVAC network.
And then JD wants to know what your favorite manifold set is.
I really liked my Testo 557s, which you guys have heard me complain about the 550s a million times, but there's, $200 difference there. I like them because they're smaller. Otherwise I've been using my Field Piece probes. I like both, but if I need an easy sleazy get in and get out and don't want to fool around,
sleazy.
I use the freaking little manifold. But otherwise the probes are awesome. I love how it gives me the full picture of what's going on as far as the temperatures. You can see your before and afters and everything like that. So far as the discussion on refrigeration, I mean, you asked a question, I'll cover it if I can. Generally on this evening service type thing, that's what my videos are more for, you know, to either talk about those or anything you guys want to talk about. A lot of times I come in here totally open-minded with nothing in particular picked out. A lot of times I bounce things off the overtime crew or Chris out there, you know, and just to have fun and kind of just chat about anything and everything. So that's kind of what the consensus of what we're doing here a lot of times. Plus it gives you guys a free place to sit there and chit-chat with each other. So it works out good for everybody.
And then Mike C, he just asked, what leak detector do you use?
I use the H10 Pro and the DTEC Stratus, DTEC 3, what the heck did they call it? It ain't Select no more. I'm going to be doing the review on the Stratus and this, it's not the Select. What the heck is they? My mind has gone blank. It's version 3. It's the new Select. And I mean, if you don't, you know, I'll just ruin it now. Basically, if you don't need the big fancy display, I really like the Select version, Detect 3. I'm trying to think of what the Infocon, what the heck is it called? I ain't got no screen to even pull it up.
I don't know.
But between those two, I mean, you know, thing I ran into, I've found a few with the H10 Pro that the Stratus missed. But I like to use the Stratus and the other Infocon product more because it's more convenient, because it has a longer reach, because the battery lasts longer, because most of the time you don't need a minuscule you know, to find a leak that's so minuscule. And, you know, in the leak that the H10 found over the Stratus, it had 35 pounds of pressure on it. So, I mean, it was a little bit of an unfair advantage to a point. I mean, like I've said in the past, it's an analog signal for a heated diode versus a diode or a infrared sensor. But I mean, that Stratus and the new version of it that they got, that's I really wish I could call it by its name, because I don't have it. I need to pull it up because that's killing me that I don't freaking remember it. Here we go. Let's pull it up.
Must be really awesome.
Yeah, it is. My mind goes blank sometimes. That's the reason why sometimes things get forgot. What else we got here? What are you doing? No! You can't come up with nothing better than that right now?
No, that's all I got.
I'll just go for Infocon leak detector.
So Mike said that he can't see paying that much for the Stratus. He uses the H10 as well. Yeah,
I mean, if you don't need the readout, the newest one they just released, which I'm trying to find it here. I know True Tech Tools has got it. And unfortunately, I'm not one of their little coupon code guys or anything like that. So where the heck is it at? Because the Select is the old version, so don't buy the Select. It's that's got the old NiCad or whatever batteries, and those are not very good. And then let's see here, where the heck? There it is, DTEC 3. Oh wow. DTEC 3, that's the one I'm going to shove any of the new guys towards, between the DTEC 3 and the H10 Pro. The H10 Pro takes a lot of time to learn. You know, you can't get into that tight spot. I am a leak searching geek. I love leak detectors like you've seen on the ultrasonic and the infrared and the H10. I mean, basically those are my two main ones. I've been using the Stratus and the DTEC 3, there's absolutely no difference as far as sensitivity. The sensors are the same, everything's the same, and I'm going to show that in the video where I put them both together. You're going to see them both hit a point and it's going to go off and instantly goes out, and that's what's so good about their infrared sensor versus some of the other ones that are yellow. That, you know, I had the yellow ones and they were some of the most horrible leak detectors I have ever had. The infrared was Chicken Little. That thing was a total piece of junk, and I wouldn't give you 50 cents for it. I literally would have gave it away, and luckily I traded it back in. The infrared version they got of it was not sensitive at all. The H10 just walked up and down and kicked its hind end up and down the street. You're going to waste a lot of time with that detector, so spend the extra money and either get one of either the Infocon or the H10 Pro. You can, if you don't have a lot of money, go with the Infocon heated diode version they got. That was their top dog back when they first got popular back in the mid 90s, which Infocon's been around for 50 years, believe it or not. And their detectors are made here in New York. They're American made. They do got a 2-year over the counter. The H10, I mean, their batteries are expensive, and their tune-up is expensive. Their sensors very expensive. So the payback on between the two, I mean, like I said, it's two different detectors, and they've got you got two different ways to weigh it. Is it, as far as sensitivity is only some of the battle. So, I mean, if it's inconvenient to use, that's going to, create more problems for you. So it's a long detailed kind of thing. So those are the two that I go with. And like I said, money is an issue. Go with the heated diode version, which is, they have the compass and they have the other one, but it's a good detector. But the thing is with the heated diode, here's the thing to know. When you get nailed with a big hit of refrigerant with the heated diode, it knocks out the sensitivity on different refrigerants. So that's the problem with the heated diode, which is why they went to the infrared. At least that's what Infocon's reasoning was behind going to the infrared, was to try to be equally sensitive on all different types of refrigerant, not just one or two. The H10 is the most sensitive on R22 over anything else. On 410A, it has a little problem sometimes. It'll find it, but it does have a little bit of a problem. You got to turn the sensor up a little bit, whatever. So, I think that's enough for the detector talk, because otherwise we're going to drive people nuts with that.
So Sean asked another question. He said he's 35 and he's been doing this for 17 years so far. Wants to know if you can talk about what in the world we're supposed to do when we get in our late 50s in this field. Their bodies will be broken down from the trade.
Yeah.
Well, there's quite a few things you could do, like to help.
He's asking me.
Preventative wise.
Well, I mean, hopefully you were wearing your knee pads and stuff in the beginning, because, I mean, I started as 19, so I was wearing the knee pads in the beginning. For us, we got quite a few guys that are in their mid to late 50s, and we got some guys that just ain't got nothing better to do. They're still in their 60s still working there, and they went back into install, which is a lot harder work, but they enjoy it. They don't want to be on call and stuff like that. So, myself, I'll do it as long as I can because I like doing it. But, like the main lead tech we got, I think he's 57 or 58, and he's still doing it, and he's kind of getting tired of it because, I mean, he's been there for 39 years or something like that. He's been there forever. So the best thing you can do is try to learn as much as you can along the way. That way you can possibly switch over into sales, move over into service, something like that, something related. I mean, that's about your only thing you could do. Maybe go into teaching, but making the same money teaching is going to be a lot less most likely. So, I mean, the biggest thing is kind of pre-planning out what else can I use this education for to better myself. So there's no perfect answer for it, but I mean, just trying to take good care of yourself as possible, try to get in shape, things like that. I mean, like I've mentioned before, I was like 255 pounds, which is why you see this loose skin down here. And, I lost a lot of weight. That made things so much easier. Climbing up and down ladders made it so much easier, getting in and out of tight spots, things like that. It makes it so much nicer. But, it's a difficult thing to keep it off. So, all those things add up to it, and just taking good care of yourself, going to the doctor, and then just try to look out. It depends on the company you work for too. If you're in a tiny little shop, they may do what they can to try to keep you and build a position for you to move into something else. Or, maybe you'll have to move into a bigger company that has more options and more things to offer. So, I mean, it really depends.
I like what Rich said. He used the poop emoji and said, save your money and spend it before you die.
Yeah, my retirement plan was just to fall off the roof. Yeah, so, yeah.
And all you young guys will have to keep working to pay into Social Security so that way I can collect disability. That's my game plan.
Yep. Sounds like a great plan.
Yeah.
I mean,
great.
And you could always be cut short. I mean, our controls guy, he was in his mid 30s, and he literally somehow slipped off the ladder, shattered his kneecap, and really screwed him up. And what we did for him is we got him into controls. So I mean, that's something that you could always go into too. I mean, I almost went into it. I was going to, and it's very interesting. The controls thing is, but because we can hire computer guys all day, and that's fine. You can teach the networking part and the programming, but they really need to have somebody that understands both sides of it when it comes to controls. So that comes in handy. They want somebody that understands why you can't just turn it off here, and you got to make sure you don't go this cold or that cold because it's going to freeze and bust something. And common sense to us, but not to a computer geek that, he may know how to program it, but he doesn't understand why he can't do what he's doing. So controls is something cool that you might be able to get into also. So maintenance, I mean, you could always get a maintenance job at one of the schools or something like that. Those are a lot less demanding. You get off at a certain time, things like that. Joe down there said he's 54, field 35 years, going to retire next year with a boatload of money. That's the other thing I finally just started doing is investing into my 401k. I am behind, was behind quite a bit. So try to save guys early in advance. I mean, I hear it a lot of times out of different people that says, put money away for that rainy day, because I guess it sounds like some of these companies in different parts of the country where things get slow, basically you get laid off or get your hours cut, things like that. I kind of waited around forever to do it, but I did something, and now I'm trying to do close to that 10% thing, which is difficult, but the kids are gone now. House is paid for, so now I've got more money to put into that kind of stuff, because you don't want to be doing it forever, but you can always, it's better to pick what you want to do than to be forced to have to do it. So I'm trying to do that. So I'm a little behind, but I'm trying to catch up.
So someone in the chat asked, union or non-union? We're
non-union. I almost went into the union, what was it, probably 15 years ago. I took the union test. I came in at serviceman level. I came in at five-year, what have you. Serviceman level, I think, was above 5-year. So to get journeyman, they had like a 200-question test, and it had a lot of plumbing on it. I think I've mentioned this before. And I know how to do basic plumbing, but I don't know all the rules for plumbing as far as, the offsets and what you can and can't do, because, that's codes and things like that. It's not what I do. Service plumbing is a lot different than install plumbing. So no, we're not really union. There's a few union shops around here. There's nothing wrong with them. Generally their training is just another guy in the field, similar to what we're doing with the videos and stuff. And they may be working through a book, and they got to go once a week, I think, or something like that. Same thing we're basically doing with our apprentices and things, where we've got a workbook we're working through. So.
Yeah, Joe said buy Amazon stock.
Yeah, I don't know. After I just said all those horrible things about them, I think Amazon's going to look out for Amazon. What else do we got here?
I don't know.
Is there anything in there that we've missed possibly?
I'm really sleepy
I can't even see how long we've been on the air.
We've been on for 66 minutes. It is 9:32.
Well, literally it's that big.
Get out your readers.
Even if I get
Rick.
this close to it, I can't freaking read it. You got it tiny.
He's really old.
No, I had LASIK surgery long ago, which got rid of my nearsightedness. Or actually, I think they call it farsightedness. It's total opposite, which I think is stupid. But basically, as you get into your 40s, your cornea is hardened, and that's why you need to have reading glasses. So it happened just like the LASIK doctor said it would. So, yeah, crap happens. But I can still see things further away and things like that, which is great, and I'll trade that any day over freaking glasses.
So David in the chat asked if you've ever thought about doing something else with the trade being rough, like just doing something else work-wise, just out of pressure.
No, I don't. Where I really get stressed out is doing stuff like the supermarkets, because I don't have a lot of experience with it, to be honest with you. You want to see me go through what some of you young guys do? That sucks sometimes when you haven't seen certain things, or certain things are going on that you haven't seen, and you got to ask for help. So that's a lot of the reason why I do these videos, honestly. I hate that feeling. I hate that feeling of having to rely on somebody else. So that's why I'm trying to share what I'm, have done forever that comes easier to me, and that's why I like sharing that stuff, because hopefully it's helping some young guy out there. I've gotten some really nice emails and stuff from some of these young kids, and they don't even have to be young kids. They could be just young people, or just people in general that just got into the field, because they come in all different ages and stuff, and it makes me feel really good about myself that I'm actually helping somebody, because a lot of times it just seems like repetitive, same old stuff that you're doing every day. And, I make a little something off of it. And I do kind of get the satisfaction of being popular, because I was never popular. But, it's other than that, I really do kind of like being able to help these guys out. And, someday maybe they'll be like, oh, I remember you. You helped me with this. That right there is priceless to me. So, that's a lot of the reason why I do it. It's basically my own struggles doing it is the reason why I'm doing it, honestly.
And Doug asked, do you do any hot side or kitchen equipment repairs?
We don't have to. I've done some conveyor ovens. I've done a couple microwaves. I do a steamer or two here and there. I've done fryers. The problem is none of the other guys want to do it. So unless you're wanting to do it all on your own, a lot of times you don't try to do anything more. Our company is labeled as a refrigeration company, and then our other branches are more of our residential and things, which I cover both, but we don't really specialize in it. I know one of our other branches won't even do it, period. So, it's just, we don't do a bunch on it. And, and it's just like anything. If you tear into it slowly and open it up, and a lot of times what I'll do on something I may have never worked on before, because I mean, we've got, this is an awesome field. We've got experience with electrical, gas, plumbing, you name it. Once you've learned all those things, you can fix anything. A man built it, a man can fix it, or a girl or a woman or whatever. So you just got to find out how does it work, and you just kind of work your way down the line, trial and elimination, well, where does it stop at? Sometimes I got to ask the cook, how does the steamer work? Does it come on when you hit this button, or does it do that? And then they've got pretty decent technical service. They're not nowhere near slammed as what, say, the heating might be or something like that. So, usually you can get a little help there on it, and then you get the manual and go through it. So it's not too bad. I've done that. I've done quite a few of the, like the 2-door convection ovens. The freaking doors are a pain in the butt because you open them up, they're side by side, and the linkage in there gets out of whack. Sometimes you got to calibrate the thermistor and stuff. And a lot of it's not too big of a deal. Think about it. It's a furnace. An oven is a furnace. You've got burners down below. You've got a heat exchanger, which is your oven chamber. And then if it's a convection oven, you added a motor in there to mix it around so that basically it's even temperature all the way around and cooks it. Yeah, we don't have a lot of ladies around here in the field. So I'm always kind of fascinated with it. I think it's really cool. I'd love to see her do it, but she physically wouldn't be able to do it.
I ain't got time for that.
I've even said something to my daughter about it, but she's more into the sales and things like that. And I tried to get my boy into it, and he wasn't interested in it. He's more into sales and things. So I never ended up forcing them to come out with me on little jobs here and there that I would do. Sometimes I'd leave them in the truck or something, but I kind of regret maybe not making them come out there. Because, when I was a kid, I used to go out in the garage with my dad. He was a welder. And I'd go out there and, learn how to pound on wood, weld, whatever the case. So unfortunately, maybe he's learning a little something off watching the videos, but I think all it's done is reassured him that, yeah, I don't want nothing to do with it. So hard to say.
So here's a cool comment. Sean said that your walk-in freezer compressor change out was his favorite video. And then Mike asks, if knowing what you know now, would you still choose HVAC? Absolutely.
Like I said in the past, if you look back here, there's a power supply right there, and there's my soldering stuff. I got my nice soldering iron right there. You can see the HVAC soldering iron. I play with electronics and stuff. I even bought the fancy course to try to learn where I left off at, because my junior year I went through a technical high school, what have you, and they ended up shutting it down on my senior, I think, and I didn't fit in. I wasn't hoodlum enough, but I was going to go to DeVry down in Columbus and ended up not doing it. I changed my mind at the last minute, went through the local school for heating and air. Never heard of, heating and air. I thought the only furnace out there was a pulse furnace because my dad had built a few different houses and every one of them had a pulse furnace. I thought that was all that was out there. And didn't know nothing about it. And in a way, you hear a lot of times going in there blind sometimes better than not knowing a little something about it. Because I was, granted, I knew electrical, I knew open and closed switches, how to measure across them. I knew how to wire 220 versus 120, all the normal stuff that you should know going in. But the problem is you had a lot of kids in there that never done it in their life. And those guys had such a hard time, and very few of them ended up doing anything with it. But no, I'm happy with doing what I do. I think it's a great field to be in. I think it's hilarious. I love it when, they used to look down on us back in the day that, oh, they're just the roughnecks, they're just a dirty old whatever. And yet they got their $100,000 of school debt, making $20,000, $30,000 less than us. And they got laid off and can't find a job. And yet we can sit there and quit our job and pick up 2 of them on the way home. It is one of the best fields, most secure fields. I love it. It's a great field to be in. No matter where I want to move at, I can go work anywhere in the world. It's the same crap no matter where you go. So I love the field. I think it's great. I think, there's so many avenues that, you can go into that you're not limited just to residential or commercial. You can get into so many other little specialty things, that you can get into. So, there's just so many avenues that you can go into. You could even go into, with your electrical knowledge, you could go into alarms install. You could go into anything. It's so unlimited with the field. I love it. What else we got? You're tired?
I'm really sleepy.
Oh, Well, you know.
Like, I'm struggling to keep my eyes open, and I'm not paying really any attention to anything you're saying at this point.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that.
What else is new, right?
Yeah. I can sit here and just talk to myself all day. So, I mean,
And he probably does sometimes.
I might.
He keeps himself entertained.
Got to. So what else we got down there on Rich G? Teach all the kids how to work with their hands. They will always be able to feed themselves and their families. Absolutely. I mean, when I was going to school for this, I mean, I was working in a auto body shop where they chopped the cars up and pieced them together. And, you know, I used my welding skills for that and was putting on the front ends and things like that. So I had friends that had frame straightening booths, you know, you name it. So I've learned a little bit of a little bit of everything. Learn as much as you can, guys. That's the biggest thing. There's nothing wrong with learning a little bit of everything. You may never be the master of it all, but you know, the more you know, the more you're it's going to pay off in the end. So
And knowing is half the battle.
yeah, but that's an NBC thing.
That's G.I. Joe.
Is it?
Yeah, the more you know with the star.
Yeah.
That's like the reading thing.
Like
Yeah.
that type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even see how many people we got because somebody made the screen so flipping small.
Where's your readers?
I don't care. It ain't gonna do no good. That thing is it in here somewhere?
It's on my
Oh, you know what
screen.
it is you got a full size screen over there. I've got the command center over here with
don't.
all this other garbage on it. That's a lot bigger.
Wow.
I would show you it, but it would disconnect everything. So it's horrible. So anyhow, if you guys got any more questions, if not, we probably could wrap this thing up since Sleeping Beauty here's all tuckered out there.
It's been a very long, adventurous weekend.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that, man. Did it do it? Did it do it? You're supposed to do like a.
It's supposed to do a funny thing.
It didn't do it.
No, I'll have to work on it. Thank you, Chris. That's mine. So you owe me $10.
What the heck? So
That's for me. Caleb, this channel needs more ASMR. You know, I tried to talk him into doing that. But you know, he thinks it's just stupid. But no, I do plug in some ASMR stuff here and there, but oh, there it goes. Look, there it is, Rick. It's behind.
yeah, check it out.
Oh, I like it.
It's a little slow though.
Well, that's because there's a delay.
Oh, but I didn't even see it over here. So she did a lot of those things there to make it kind of cool. So I mean, it works out pretty neat. So hopefully this will work. We didn't get to bring anybody else in to try out the screen capture on that. We have pre-mades for 2-3 people, I think up to 4. But we still got to come up with a way to capture, which who knows?
Rich said that you'd take me to bed and rub my feet. Yeah, like that's going to happen.
You wouldn't want to read those sandpapers.
They're not that bad.
Oh yeah, they are.
I could use a good neck massage. But, you know, oh, and Shannon says York equipment sucks. That's Shannon's closing remarks. Apparently he doesn't like York equipment. Now, question though, Shannon, do you feel York is better or worse than Goodman? Because I hear Goodman gets a lot of crap. Just saying.
I don't like the way York does a lot of their weird stuff, but I mean, they do make some high-end big stuff, but I know their old rooftop units I hate. They had the crappy pilot system with this little spark ignition with a little freaking tube that lit up first before it crossed over. And
Hey, there's another really good question in the chat.
I didn't say I wouldn't, Rich.
There's 2 good questions. So Sean wants to know, have you worked on any dedicated outside air systems? And then Mike C asked if there's a particular brand of AC unit that you don't like working on. He doesn't like York commercial package units. So that's where the York equipment sucks comment came from.
I thought you asked if there's any particular brand I don't like.
Well, there's 2 questions there.
Yeah, you piled them all on there real quickly.
So do you ever work on dedicated outside air systems?
If you're talking like makeup air units, I have a video on it. You guys do know that you can go click on the channel, and if you go to the channel, you can click on then videos, and you can look at everything I've got. And I've got like 60 some videos that aren't even available because they have my old name on it, and they show the company name and all kinds of crap like that. So I've thought about going through and trying to cut all that out so you guys can see some of the old stuff.
Oh, now we got him talking in the chat. So Doug says he doesn't like Ream. He said they're the worst with 3 different size screws. And Alexander said Goodman is Amanda Dakin. And yeah, people are saying Goodman is all right. York, Russ, like trash, or R2s are trash. Let's see what else. And then Dragon said York and Goodman are the same. Bleep.
Yeah.
York little better than Goodman.
Yeah. I don't mind Ream. I worked for one of the guys that we sold Ream or Rude, whatever. Same freaking thing. Believe it or not, they seem to work pretty good. I mean, the old ones kind of are a little bit of a pain, but you know, I got like curious when I was trying to look to find out some new high efficiency stuff for my in-laws and stuff, and they've even got some fancy stuff. I didn't even know they were up to date on that kind of thing, but they've got some fancy stuff there because I'm wanting to maybe upgrade mine. I'd really like to go with all the fancy Infinity stuff, but I have a hard time trashing my Lennox furnace that, you know, I've got extra parts for. And really, I'm still using the same ECM motor from 2003 that's been running nonstop since 2003. And
Shannon just said that the new Ream stuff is nice and that he thinks they have the best furnace on the market right now.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I judge equipment by how serviceable it is. I mean, can I get in there without cutting my fingers off because they were cheap and didn't use a nice punch-out die set? Did they logically think it out so you can get the freaking condensate trap out? Can you get to the flame sensor? Do I have to take off the whole box to get to the side of the screw? I mean, those are the kind of things. I mean, when I first started back in the 90s and Goodman had their freaking flame sensor on the sideways side where you couldn't get to it, and I'd end up taking a stepping drill bit and drill a hole right in the side of the furnace and take my nut driver through there and get it because it irritated the crap out of me that you couldn't get to it. That was the old Goodman that I dealt with that I just absolutely hated. You know, I was actually even thinking about, and this is the thing too, I don't really know what the experience level of majority of my people I've got out there. I mean, if everyone's up there just the same amount of time I've got, then they're, you know, it's some of the little things I do that are kind of like, you know, not super fantastic. They may not find it useful, but I do a lot of things that you may already know just for the ones that, you know, are starting out new. JD, I appreciate that, man.
JD.
Thank you. Has it did the...
$4 make you holla. Yeah, it did.
It did? Okay.
It did. I watched for it.
Sweet.
His little target thing spins, and then it says, "You donated. Thank you."
Yep. Awesome. Hopefully it said that cha-ching and all that.
Yeah, I have it programmed so that.
Why are we
you
not hearing any of that,
you hear
though?
the cash register because we have the sound turned off. That's why. But they hear it.
But if I turn that back on, will they hear all the vibration or all the crap
Yeah,
again?
all the vibrating. Yeah, we will.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Yep. That don't work.
There it
really.
is. Turn that back down. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Turn back down for what? Yeah. So.
Shannon asks if the capacitor is mounted on the back of the blower motor with 3 red mad faces.
On my furnace or what one? 'Cause mine's an ECM motor, true ECM, so I don't have any capacitor.
He said for your next on-call shift, LOL. That's what JD said. The $4. So far, I've earned $9.99 and you've earned $4.
Oh boy, you're killing me now. Well, being as I'm paying for this service here, and it's $25 a month for, you know, so I guess
it's money well spent.
Yeah. I'm doing it just so I can hang out with you guys, and we look forward to it though. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. You know, I really would like to start trying to put something together with actual content in it more than just the talk. But you know,
guess what?
What?
Rich is like vibrating things. I don't need to know
Doug
that.
Brown, check him out. Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
$4.99 out of your mind. Thank you, Doug.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
I'm waiting for the little emoji thing to come up.
Is it going to show? Will it show on this one here too?
I don't know.
That's kind of. I hope it ain't jittery like that.
No, it's not because it's slowed down. There's a delay.
I'm counting in my head. Yeah, see how my head just jumped to the left there a little bit?
There it goes. Whee!
Yeah,
Thank you,
like
Doug.
that's wild.
Isn't that cool?
I think we need to shut the cable off and we'll upgrade our upload speed to 50 to 100 meg.
Boy.
Yeah, guys, if you would hit the thumbs up, that helps out a lot. That way, that the viewership, how long you guys are watching and things. Oh, there's my little live thingamajig that tells me how long we've been. That helps the algorithm to know whether or not they should recommend me to other people and stuff. So it makes a difference. Thank you, if you would.
And Rich, I'm tickled that you find us entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, how many other wives or losers like me that hang out on live streams talking about HVAC stuff when they're not in the HVAC field. Now, if you would like to talk about cervixes and babies being born and, gynae stuff, I'm your lady. I can
Here
answer
is
some
a
questions
good one.
on that.
Calvin Baker. Hey, can
Yep.
you please explain why we use 3-wire click-on for the evap shutoff on a defrost, and more importantly, why we use 3-wire instead of 2?
Ooh.
The reason for that is you
That's
have a
good.
common and you have 2 other wires. The one is your delay on make for your fans. So, and then I got to bring it all the way over here.
I was giving you the third finger.
I know. Oh, okay. So anyhow, when the say you're in the freeze mode and you're freezing down, and you go into defrost, and so you're going to have termination on either time or temperature, or both. And so basically, what happens is if say a lot of the guys will set them for 40 minutes or 35 minutes, and this is all going to change depending on where you are in the country. If you got a high humidity area, or if it's in a kitchen area where all that heat comes in there, you may need more defrosts. If you're in a moderate climate, you may only need 2 or 3 defrosts per 24 hour. So anyhow, that thing goes into defrost, and what they want to do is try to get it out of defrost as quickly as possible. Because think about it, what did you do? You just paid to get this thing down to temperature and to freeze the food. So now you're warming things up. It's going to cost money to bring it back down in temperature. So what that job, that defrost control is to bring out, kick the clock out. The clock has a little solenoid in there. And what it does, it loops the other side of power back. It hits the X terminal generally, and it will cause it to,
Say hi.
Yeah, this is Eli. Yep.
A grumpy pug named Eli.
Yep. The other dog keeps biting his legs. So anyhow, on that that's the termination. The fan delay, the other thing it does, okay, now that you've gotten the coil hot and all that water's on it, you don't want all that blown off the coil. So what you do is you start to freeze down. So you're going to try to freeze that moisture on the coil, or sometimes on the more advanced systems, they'll use drip down time so that it can drip down. But on old, machines where it's just like old-fashioned analog type controls and stuff, what it's going to do is it's going to sit there and it's going to start freezing again. That coil's going to have to get down to below 32, I think it is, before it'll bring on the fans. And that's the reason for it. So basically, you just got to switch there, common in the middle, boom this way to terminate, boom this way to kick on the fans. That's it. Not too bad. If you get a good schematic, get a chance to take a picture of it, put it on your phone underneath refrigeration schematics, and save that thing for later. Because that thing comes in handy. Because I sometimes forget. You got a brown, a red, and a black wire, and I sometimes forget. So I just go to my little thing there, just like a TXV. Do you go in or do you go out to raise or lower it? So you forget.
So
Take pictures.
Shannon says, you know what you need even more than more defrost? More cowbell.
For real.
I always knew I liked you, Shannon. You're speaking my language here. And then Brad, he has a really good question. He said, if you could choose to specialize in one area of HVACR, what would it be?
I've always kind of had a niche, liked doing the refrigeration thing, but I am starting to get a little bored with what I'm doing right now, because I feel like all my videos lately have been the same thing, to be honest with you. So I hate that. It seems like I'm doing the reach-ins nonstop and the same ice machines. So, it is kind of, I've been with them for 6 years, and that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 6 years, even though I've been doing it for like 25. So, I'm ready to get in some bigger stuff. As much as it don't make sense why I want to stress myself out to learn something new. But it's kind of one of them things where, yeah, I like refrigeration. Heating's okay. I wouldn't mind maybe knowing more about the control thing later on. But for right now, just the refrigeration, I think, is the fun thing. I enjoy that.
Kyle Greer has a good one. He says, hello. He has a question. He had a new Train XR14 package put on his home, so the inducer exhaust is not extended past the outside of the side panel of the unit. It's shy about 1/4 of an inch.
Train, did he say?
Yes.
Does it have like one of those little square panels where it like they're trying to make it flush mount and make it all fancy, where the intake is like from the back side, like a concentric in a way, and it just has a little nub for blowing out the front? If that's the case, that's normal.
Nub.
If it was the generic, doing it with just 2 pipes and they kind of did their own thing, then myself personally, I like to have it, minimum of 12 inches off the ground. One shooting straight out, the other one angled in with a 90 down like this, within 6 inches of each other, and that usually keeps recirculation down. And around here where it gets really cold, those kind of screw ups are what ends up creating no heat calls. that was a lot of the reason why I got so bored doing the other stuff. I mean, I probably could just make a video on some of the calls that I dealt with that were just plain
He's getting a
silly.
little fussy.
Eli, you bored? Yeah, he's getting tired too.
He probably wants to go outside, go potty.
Yeah.
He said that he talked to the installer and asked, is there an extension to carry the hot gas out?
Yeah. I mean, you know, the one furnace that had such an issue with it was the pulse furnace. That one there, believe it or not, people never believe you, but if they weren't properly spaced out just right, you'd have recirculation. And basically the exhaust air didn't have enough oxygen in it. And it literally would sit there and be buzzing along and it would drop out. And it was because they didn't have enough oxygen to run. Pulse furnace, one of my most favorite furnaces out there. A lot of people hate them. They hate them because they were heavy, but it was one of the most reliable furnaces out there. So, Eli, come here. Come here. You want to say hi to the people? Come here. We always show off the other little dog. So,
Well,
where's she at? Because I don't see her.
Upstairs. I've been keeping an eye on her on the cameras.
Oh, she's probably peeing all over the floor.
She is not. She's sleeping with Pugsley.
There we go.
This is Eli, the grumpy pug. He's very grumpy. He's kind of like Jeff Dunham's grumpy puppet Walter, the old man. That's Eli.
Yeah, he's getting old. I got him as a puppy. He was big enough to fit
10.
in my hat when I first got him.
He's 10 years old now.
Yep. You can see it in his beard there. He's got a lot of white. But he's a good dog. He don't do much wrong. But
He's really grumpy. He has an attitude.
Yeah.
A bad attitude most times. And when he is very mad at you, he will let you know.
Oh yeah. Poop right in the stones for you and everything.
And he'll sit there and he'll drop it right there like it's hot and stare at you, make eye contact while he's doing it to let you know that he is pissed.
Yep. Gotta love that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys would hit the thumbs up button there on the way out, I think we're going to go ahead and just wrap this thing up. We are at an hour and 31.
I like JD's motto. He said pugs, not drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got two, so we subscribe to that theory.
Yeah. The other one, he's probably up there doing something crazy.
Pugsley and Chloe are spooning.
Yeah. Are they?
Chloe likes to be the big spoon.
Are they laying together in their little bed?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been keeping an eye on them.
Yeah, we're like Fort Knox around here. I've always kind of, as a kid, wanted a really cool alarm system and video system. Yeah, they are.
They're right there.
Yep, so good.
So.
But yeah, guys, I really appreciate you coming in. If you got anything you want to send me, you can always email it to me, hvacrsurvival@gmail.com. Send me your pictures, questions, all that kind of stuff. I really enjoy reading that kind of thing, and if I can answer it, I will. If not, I'll try to find out the answer for you. I do appreciate you guys coming in. I appreciate you guys subscribing, clicking the notification bell, checking out the videos. All those things make it worthwhile and fun for me to do. So I appreciate you guys coming in tonight. I hope you guys have a great day tomorrow. Be safe. Come home the same way you left, and we'll call it. So go ahead and roll us out of here.
I'm going to roll the beautiful bean footage credits.
All right. Hit her happer.
All right. Thanks for coming, guys.
Till next time, guys. We'll catch you on the next one.
You're still here? Bye-bye. It's over.
Thanks.
Go home.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Go.
Bye-bye. I want to see
We're
motion,
done.
movement.
Finito.
Bye-bye.
See the door,
Okay?
use it.
Bye-bye. Take care.
You're still
Bye-bye.
here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Description eyewear. Sorry.